I'm Katie Mullens. I'm a junior in high school. So my family is very disconnected. We are not one to necessarily communicate or get along. And so my sister has two developmental disorders, and them toppled on top of each other makes everything super chaotic. And my mom and I don't necessarily get along, and she got out of juvenile detention not that long ago, and my mom ended up kicking me out of my house, and I'm living with a grandpa that doesn't necessarily appreciate my company. And my parents are currently getting a divorce, and my best friend recently committed suicide. Not to be offensive or anything, but I honestly thought it was going to be the biggest waste of my time. Like, it was just going to be another one of those games where we just sat there and we were like, oh yeah, we're going to play this pretty cool card game. I'm going to teach you some magic tricks, and I'm going to temporarily distract you from your problems. And I mean, it was so much different. So just like with everything going on, and going through the slides that we were talking about, and we were talking about how people that find their purpose in life are prone to living better lives and longer lives and doing things that they really want to do and being successful. And with some of the stuff that we were like talking about, I almost felt like a big finger was pointing at me. And just like sitting there, we went through these cards and we had to pick one that we couldn't live without, and mine was bringing joy. And like, I've always thought like, oh yeah, I'm a goofball, stuff like that, but I've never like thought of it as me doing it on purpose just to make people happy. So like, I sat there and I was like baffled by everything going on, and something just kind of like clicked. Like, it was almost like watching a light bulb turn on, and I just started smiling, and I still wasn't fully comprehending everything that was going on. I was just kind of like floating there. I was hanging out, like I was solely there. It was like a positive energy was just radiating from me. I couldn't do anything without laughing for a minute, and before that I couldn't even laugh for a second. And it was just, it's such a crazy feeling. Like, I hadn't felt that in so long. And I was like, I walked to school, and I don't necessarily appreciate the walk, but it's good to be outside. And I started like noticing things that I hadn't noticed before, and then I just like randomly appreciated them in my head. And I'd walk past someone and I'd wave, and normally I'd walk with my head down, don't really acknowledge anyone. It's just like, I don't know, like when you turn a light bulb on, you're lighting a room, and the light bulb that came on in me lit up everything around me. And now all I see is the things that bring like a good energy around. And I'm totally ignoring the darkness that I have not lit up yet, and the darkness that refuses to be lit. And it's all because I know that I'm here to bring joy now. Lately, I seem a little more driven. Like, before the purpose workshop, I had a really hard time getting out of bed. Like, I don't know, like the misplaced air thing that I mentioned, like, I was just air. I really wasn't meant to be there. I wasn't being breathed or anything. Like, it was just absent air, toxic air at that, to everyone around me. And I went home after the purpose workshop, and my grandpa said something that wasn't very pleasant, and I just instantly responded with something positive. Like, I was just like, well, and I said something, and he laughed at me. And that was like one of the very few interactions that we've had that were actually pleasant. And I went to bed smiling, and I never do that. I normally cry myself to sleep at that. I woke up and I was in dead laughter. Like, I was laughing. I woke myself up laughing. Who does that? I came to school on time. I wasn't late. I wanted to be here. And I had fairly okay grades before the purpose workshop. And the day after, I have a 4.0. The card said bringing joy, and bringing joy is a very social thing. And before the purpose workshop, it wasn't necessarily social. I'd talk to people and I'd be around, and everything else is just like I wouldn't really socialize. And now that I feel like I know my purpose and I know why I'm here, I talk more and I make people laugh. Like my friend the other day, his brother passed away recently and he was so upset, and I said one thing and he busted up laughing. He just kept repeating it throughout the day and he was so happy. I was like, okay, like this feels good. I feel like I'm meant to be here now. And like, I don't know, it's just, it's crazy. In the purpose workshop, the card thing was really helpful, and it pointed out a big part in me that I didn't realize that I had and that I valued so much. And like I had to make that choice. He told me to pick one card, so I did. And now it's just like this recurring thought, like this is what I'm doing and I'm so much happier. And we had to not only pick a card, but we had to write out what our card was and what it meant by doing that, or like what you were supposed to do, and then write out the other 4 cards that we had that were just kind of like a layout. And having to pinpoint your purpose and identify that and describe what you mean by that, it really just, I don't know, it turns on the light bulb. As far as blue zones goes, just looking at statistics and things that you guys have given me and everything else, I've noticed myself doing more and socializing more and putting myself out there more and eating healthier and doing these crazy things that are just, they weren't me before I met you guys. And I'm really coming into my own. Like I feel like my own person. As far as life goes after blue zones, life's lit up. I cry a little less and I laugh a little more. And it's very helpful and I appreciate you guys for it.